All right, so what I want to do is sample people's opinion on what they think about the phenomenon of money ritual. There are conflicting arguments regarding it. Some believe it's real, some believe it's superstitious. What do you think about it?
Well, I feel it's real. Well, I don't want to state names, but I'll say from experience, I've noticed it's actually true. It's actually real. You can't, let's just take what happens generally now. We all know about Yahoo and everything that happens. You can't just tell me the way they run mad, the way organs are missing, the way the whole thing happens. You can't just tell me it's just for the fun of it.
Okay, so the thing about organ harvesting,
Yes.
so there's this hypothesis that the reason people engage in money ritual, killing human beings, taking their body parts and all that, the explanation a lot of people have given to that is that there is a black market for organs. And so people kill people, steal organs, to sell to people in the black market. It has nothing to do with the fact that if you sacrifice these organs to a god or goddess, that you are going to become wealthy overnight.
Well, true, it's debatable, but I stand corrected anyways. But I feel it's still you can't just tell me. Yes, there are black markets where they sell human parts, they harvest organs and all. Yes, it's possible because the organs are very expensive actually.
Why do you think it's real?
Because we see it, we hear the news, like just yesterday I heard about the news of, I think she's saying Uniport, that was, I think her eyes was dug out, breast cut off and all. Everyone saw it, there's video, there's evidence, and for sure we have the babalawos and all of them that it's real.
Oh, okay. So about that, my grandma of blessed memory, way back early 2000s when I used to go visit her, she used to tell us stories then, of people around that they involve using people for fetish things. So I think that was the first place that I got the conception of money rituals from. But then I think I watched Billionaires Club. Then early 2000s, that was like mainstream home video. It was more of like, for you to get money you have to engage in, for you to get like all those crazy money that you dream of, you have to get it through fetish reasons. And personally, that was where I got to know about the concept of money rituals. But then, with what I've heard, with what I've seen, I believe it is real.
What have you seen?
Okay, so I think the year 2017-18, 18 to be precise, I used to walk around Ring Road, somewhere around Ring Road, Felele, and there used to be this soca place, then it was Ajimobi, Governor Ajimobi of blessed memory. He was the one in power then, and they had to like evict. There are times too that, even in papers, you see people being caught, and, all around the use of human body, all around the use of fetish things for, money rituals still. So with that, and it is not, many mouths don't tell the wrong tales. So it's been over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So I believe it to be real.
I feel money ritual is real, looking at what happens in the world, and of recent what happened at Uniports. So I feel it's real.
Okay, so the counter arguments I could give to that would be that the fact that people believe something doesn't automatically mean it's real.
Actually.
So at the end of the day, we have to appeal to scientific hardcore evidence to make a claim whether it's real or not. What do you say to that?
Actually, I don't have much to say about it, because even me saying that it's real, there's no evidence, because I've not seen when it's been done, but it's just what is around the society that they do this, they do that. So looking at the scientific part, I don't know what can be done about that.
Well, personally, I don't think it's real, because to me it doesn't sound reasonable that killing a fellow human or removing their parts can be used for some fetish things to make you rich. It doesn't sound logical to me, so I don't think it's real.
Well, you're the first person to express skepticism about money ritual. Now, if it is not real, then why are people doing it? Because every other week, we find stories in the newspapers of the police arresting someone. Just yesterday, we heard what happened in Uniport. So if it isn't real, why are people engaging in it?
Well, I would say possibly they are just people who traffic human organs, because that's the only logical thing I can think about the only logical thing that I can say is behind killing a fellow human and removing their organs. What else would they use it for if not selling it to traffickers or something?
Okay, so let me play the devil's advocate.
Okay.
So one could argue that the fact that many people believe one thing doesn't automatically make that thing to be true. The fact that people have been caught over and over with human body parts, for the express purpose of money ritual, the fact that we've caught many people over the years doesn't automatically mean it's still true. Yeah, the truth is, a lot of people believe in it, but is it actually true? Do we have hardcore evidence that if you sacrifice human beings to one stupid god, that automatically you're gonna become rich? Do we actually have hardcore, scientifically proven evidence to back that up?
Okay. Can I ask you a hypothetical question?
Yeah, please. Sir.
Okay, so science is like, for you to believe something, you have to see it, right?
Yeah. Observable evidence.
Observable evidence. Okay. You have a brain, don't you?
Definitely I have a brain.
Have you seen your brain before?
I haven't, but my brain can be scanned and I can see it.
Okay, so that is just to draw parallel lines to. See, this thing it is like this, right? If there is a trend, and it is not a one-off, and trust me, this thing dates way back to early 2000s that I know of. I've not had time to diligently do my own study, because the thing is, I'm less bothered about money ritual, right? I'm a Christian personally, and I believe in part of the scripture that says in Proverbs that a man diligent in the work of his hands will stand before kings. All you need is just diligence. But then, because of we want instant gratification, and people just want to have these things, by crook or by rook. And that is okay. For example, now when I used to stay in a level, then when I stayed in a level, people used to say, okay, pants. Then it was even pants. It was pants, and if you stayed around the axis, if you know about the axis where I stayed then in level, everybody was probably using exotic cars and everything, and it was an underground tone that for you to actually get this kind of money, you have to engage in something fetish, and the main of that time was pants.
Yeah.
So they are always changing systems to these things. They're always changing approach to these things, but then it's for over and over again and again. It has been like the consistency of this theme, of this topic. If it is a lie, it would have faded out. If it was a hoax, it would have faded out. But it's always recurrent. There is no time. Literally every month, literally quarterly, annually, you would always hear stories of somebody being caught, somebody being arrested, someone being apprehended. And then if you listen to Bangkok Beyond on stations, you hear people talking about these things, that yes, they were caught, and when they were interrogated, they said they were not under duress, they were not forced, they admitted, they confessed, to getting body human parts for ritual purposes.
If you believe it's real,
Okay.
do you think it's like the Nollywood conception of a ghost bringing a bag full of cash in the middle of the night or something? Do you think that's just a little bit of over-dramatization, or it's probably something close to reality?
I don't have much to say about, because as I've said, there's no evidence. But I'm looking at Nollywood, they have actually promoted a lot of things that we don't know if it's actually done that way. And I think I've actually spoken to someone that is a traditionalist, and she was like, everything they do in Nollywood, Babalawo stuff, is not actually real, that they are over presenting it to the society. Yeah.
Okay, that's a fair point. But the thing is, the conditions in which people engage in these things are crude. So even if it were for the purposes of organ trafficking, those conditions are just crude. So by the time you even want to sell it to the black market, the body parts are probably rotting already. So
well, we're thinking about that kind of. You do have a point, But to me, it still doesn't sound logical that money ritual exists. Because I can't fathom the process of you doing, like, chanting some words to a human body that you've chopped off, and how would that make you rich? How would that influence your financial state? How is it possible? I still don't think it is.
What do you think the concept of money ritual, what do you think that mix of traditional deities? If a god tells you to go and bring a human body part for the express purposes of wealth, does that depict that god to be benevolent, or does it depict that god to be evil and that god should not be worshipped?
Yes.
That type of god should not be worshipped.
Yes.
But that's going to annoy traditional religious worshippers.
Not all tradition, like all gods are wicked, because even the traditionalists, even they themselves know they are like a lot of deities too, and even the traditionalists, like some particular god or herbalists that do evil, they are like against it. There's one time I was listening to a radio station, and this person was claiming that she's a traditionalist, and she was cited, and she was, okay, so people now mentioned Yahoo boys, some of them that are going into all this type of thing, and she was not like, that's actually very wrong, and it's not even like showcasing their tradition properly. Like, it's not making it look like tradition worshippers are more of ritual people and they just do more of evil like that. So if there's any god or deity that do evil, it's not supposed to be worshipped. People, the traditionalists themselves, don't support such an act.
We hear, well, we might not have hardcore evidence, but from confessions from people, you get to know that this thing is real. From confessions, you get to know it's real.
Okay, so on a final note, I want to get your thoughts on traditional deities, because usually money ritual involves someone taking human body parts to a shrine, traditional priest or what have you. If a deity believes you need to bring human body parts as a sacrifice for wealth, do you think such a deity deserves to be worshipped? Or do you think money ritual is just a mischaracterization of traditional deities?
Well, no. From the little I know about money rituals, I know, well, I might be wrong, but I got to know they do this for kings in the past, and it might not have consequences. It might have consequences, but the fact that they are doing it for the king, they might have their way around it all. But, well, I would say this deity is actually real. You see people who worship them, and for them to worship them, they must have seen something. At least for we to believe in Jesus Christ, he must have shown himself to us. We can't just, because of what someone says, we now say we just believe. He must have shown himself to us for us to actually personally believe that he actually exists. So for them to actually, for a Shango worshipper to worship him, Shango must have showed himself to him. One way or the other, he must have showed himself to him. So I don't believe it's just a coincidence. I believe it's actually real.
Let's say to the extent that it's real. Let's just assume it's real.
Assuming it's real.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think that makes of traditional deities? Because, I mean, these people go to the shrine, they sacrifice to one god or whatever. What does that make of traditional deities if it's real?
Like, does it make them good or bad or something like that?
Exactly.
Well, that's a very sensitive topic, and I would not like to talk about it. That might offend some traditional worshippers or people who believe in those deities. So, can I pass on that?
All right, fair enough.